Hello, folks. I'm a little out of practice here. I'm out of time here. Let my stream catch up. And forgive me, I got something in my mouth, trying to cure some dry mouth. And I was having some issues. But I'm good. How's everybody doing? I don't know how many's here yet. Two, so me and somebody else. That is fine. I will be starting at 10 from now on for a while until I get back on my feet a little better. Right now, I kind of have to need my nights to kind of pace and get myself back in the grip again. Hello, Clark. Mr. Clark, how are you tonight? I am good. And good evening to you. So, yeah, 10 o'clock for a little bit. And then hopefully I'll go back to my midnights. I kind of miss my midnights, but right now I don't want to push myself. I'm healing pretty good. I'm not going to go into lengthy details, but yeah, I got pretty sick. So I am good. I am healing. And I hope everybody comes in. Thank you. Usually I keep it short. Sometimes he cut a little shorter than normal this time, which wasn't really too happy about because I do like my long hair. But when I came out of the hospital this time, it was a little strawy and greasy. And it was like, I know how many times I washed it. I just couldn't get it. So it was time to cut it. So I guess I had to cut it. But yeah, I do like my long hair. But I also like my short hair. So I try to equal it out every so often. So, but thank you. I don't know, I'm babbling. But I'm good. I hope you are good and having a good weekend so far. And I hope you have a good Sunday. Our starter replay about 10:30. I always try to give a little time to get people coming in. It's a new time, so I'm sure everybody's a little bit out of whack. We'll see who all shows up. Usually I do this at midnight, but I needed to start this a little earlier for a time being. See who all shows. Like I said, I'll start her replay. I usually play something that's at least 2 years old or older from one of our older videos that may not have gotten recognition. There's Vixen. How you doing? You know, I've got an email I'm going to send you too, Vixen. So, hello. How are you, dear? Any luck? I hope you got some luck out of the post office. They kind of felt bad for both of us. But I hope you are well, dear. Yeah, see, Edna made it tonight. It's early enough for her now. She's getting old like me. We have to start going to bed at an earlier time. Just kidding. Actually, I'm just doing this for a bit. I'll probably eventually go back to my midnights. We'll see. But yeah, I need to just kind of start a little early for a little bit. I should be here Wednesday too at 9. I do have a showing I have to go to. A friend passed yesterday, and a very close friend of families, mine and Tina's when we were married. His son played ball with us, and we all got pretty close. So, excuse me. So I got to go to that showing. I'll probably go early, but I'll be here at 9. No problem. It'll do me good. But I hope everybody's well. And like I said, I will start her video at 10:30, just like I did at 12:30 at my 12 at night midnight show. But it is temporary. Just for a little bit. Let me get back on my feet. Get back in the groove of things. I hope you're all well. Anybody got anything exciting going on before we get started for the night? No joy. Nope, no joy there. They had no link to accept the pictures you sent. They wanted every other format but that. Oh, of course. I don't know if you can switch the format on them or not. But that's BS. You have to do it online. I don't know why I wouldn't go into the post office and say, no, you figure it out. You're the one who screwed up my package, took my money, and trashed my package. But yeah, send me the formats. And I'll send you an email, hon. And you can let me know what the format's on. Maybe we can get them switched over to those formats. Because you should get something out of it. You deserve your money back. At least for the pie. That just upsets me. Because you're the one that really lost out. Because you're the one that spent money on that. And that's BS. That's just total BS. I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to accept that for you. So we'll make sure we give them plenty of hell. Pardon my language. But yes, that was, no, I'm not, that's not going to fly with me. You send me the formats, I'll email you tomorrow. And email me back what they want in the format and see if we can get them switched over. I'm sure somebody could show me how to switch them over because they could be switched over. I don't think that will be a problem. I really don't. But you deserve your money back. You better get your money back. That's BS. That was just horrible. You know, if they would have simply delivered it when they had it, it would have been fine. It would have been fine. I even yelled at the mailman because sometimes I blame them too because they let it sit out the office because they don't want to carry it. And that pisses me off. Even my own brother, who worked for the post office, and his wife, who was a postmaster, even said the same thing. Sometimes these guys leave that stuff and wait till they desire to take it. That ain't gonna fly. So yeah, he got kind of a chewed out the other day when I finally caught him. So yeah, it just ain't gonna fly. But other than that, how's your day going, Vixen and Anna? How are you doing, hon? You said hello and then you hadn't said anything. Yeah, this is temporary. I will be back at midnights eventually. But yeah, I can't talk. I can't hold the whole conversation. You guys got to talk to me. So what's up? Like I said, I'll start at about 12:30. 12:30. See, I'm still in that mood. 10:30, I'll start it. Tonight I picked. Well, I better do this first in case she's watching. It's still early. Oh yeah, it's bumming my dad out too. Hold on, let me do something here real quick, Edna. No, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's do this. Share screen, yes. This is her video for Monday, so I'm gonna put it on screen for a little bit. And hold on, let me make myself a little bigger. There we go. That's her Monday video for 11 o'clock a.m. Upload for Monday for premiere. So please check it out. Actually, with him, it's anytime the temperature changes. Oh man, he's been hurting. Here in Ohio, it's up and down really bad. I mean, today we were in the 30s. Yesterday we was in the 50s. Tomorrow we're supposed to be back in the 40s. Then we drop back down to 30s, and it kills him. I mean, it just, you can tell. He moves slow in this weather, so yeah. And it gets my bones too, so yeah. Yeah, it's this crazy weather. I can imagine, because how close are you to the ocean? He said if he lived closer to the ocean, it'd probably be a lot worse with the way these temperatures are up and down. He said he'd definitely be hurting a lot worse. We were talking about that the other day. Say, Pop, would you ever live near the ocean? Heck no, he goes, I hurt now. I'd hurt even more by the ocean. With these crazy butt temperatures. Because he likes the temperature. He likes the season change in Ohio. He's like me. I don't think I could ever live like in Florida or California where it's sunny and decent all the time, even though they have their kind of, those Florida did get snow the other week. So I don't think I could do it. I got to have spring and summer and fall, watch leaves change. I got to be able to go sledding. That's the way I am. I don't think I can do a place that had really no seasons. I don't think I can do that. I got to have my snow. It wouldn't be the same. Winter, with no winter, it wouldn't be fun. Christmas wouldn't be fun. Though right now, winters have been weird. So we have buds on the trees already. So, which is really crazy. I've seen early budding on trees, probably as early as February. But January? No, never. But it got pretty toasty Yesterday and the day before, it was nice. The wind was chilly. Yeah, and it was nice up here this morning. And now we are. You're in the negatives. Now, where are you at, Cliff? Mr. Clark, where are you at? You don't have to give me your specific location. Doc always told me to move to the. You see, they suggested that to Dad to maybe move to Arizona or something like that. He goes, I ain't moving out there. I don't want to deal with sand. I'd rather cut grass and grow flowers. Yeah, that's what he said. Basically, he can't live in a cat box. Waddy. Oh, okay. Oh, you live in North Jersey too? Interesting. Okay, so you're a Jersey too, huh? I got you. All the way up, huh? You live all the way up. Yeah, she lives about halfway, I think, somewhere. Hey, Jarvis, what's up, bud? I didn't see you sneak in. I was watching Cliff's answers. Born and raised, just like everybody else I know from Jersey. I like Jersey. They didn't care much for the city part, but actually, Tom's River was kind of nice. I liked it. I liked Tom's River. It was kind of a neat place. I don't like your roads. I mean, you come here and drive, you'd be like, holy crap, this is easy compared to New Jersey. I love Maryland. No doubt I'll ever leave it. Hey, Maryland sounds like a great place. I love when people love where they live. That's, to me, is important. You know, I love Ohio. A lot of people make fun of Ohio, but other people don't live here. I mean, we've got it all. But then again, I go to other states. I haven't been to many states, but now I've been to Jersey. I've been to all, Michigan. I've been across the border inside Minnesota, but I haven't really been in Minnesota or Wisconsin. I've been in Indiana, been in Kentucky, in Illinois, been, and I like Sissy too. Then, yeah, about 20 years ago, and then it kind of, but see, that's Columbus too. It's changing too, but I've been all the states around. But I would say my favorite places right now will always be Colorado. Once I got up in those Rockies, they had a hard time getting me to leave. I really loved it up there. I could have lived in those mountains with no problem at all. None. I don't know if I could live by the ocean. I just don't know. I mean, I could do it. You do have everything, Edna. You do have, and we don't have mountains, but we have our share of rolling valleys. Yeah, Jarvis comes the same way. About 20, it was great up until about 20 years ago. So they keep trying to make it better, but I don't know. What time we got here? 10:14. I want to make sure I start the video on time because I know some people come in here to watch the video. I call them uploads, but we'll call them videos for those who don't understand. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. But yes, that is our Monday video, 11 a.m. for premiere. I'm going to try to make it because I missed the last ones because I've been busy. Well, the last one I was sick. And then, so I don't even want to go there. But yeah, I plan on being there for this. I always try to be there. I know it's hard for her to be there this time, so I try to show up for her. But sometimes I get busy. Sometimes things get crazy here. The new 8 is from Hilliard. Oh, are they? Yeah. Good old Hilliard. I have friends there. And family. But, my kids grew up on the west side over by Hilliard. Over there on from 70. Oh, I've been having a lot of those, and especially since I've been sick. We'll talk about that Wednesday. I was going to bring that up Wednesday in dreams. And I had another visit from our friendly neighborhood cloaked person. This time it was one in gray, not in black. And I say I had a visit because I'm pretty sure he was there looking mean. So, yeah, we'll discuss that Wednesday. Since I got sick, things gotten way interesting. Way interesting. Let's just say that when I went in that hospital Tuesday, even Gemma doesn't know, and I'm sure she's probably watching, but a lot more happened that night. I sent her a picture, and it's not a pretty picture of me. I've got a mask on, and I'm all. I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to tell anybody what happened after that picture, but it got crazy. And when I left that Thursday, I left on my own. I said, I'm done. I'm out of here. So I was good enough to leave. They didn't fight me, so I left. But yeah, those 3 days were interesting. So we'll discuss some of that and what I was seeing while I was there Wednesday night. Yeah, I am. I don't want to go into it now because this is Gemma's time. But yeah, I want to make this a Wednesday talk because it's spooky time. That's why it's called spooky time. Hey, Latra, I love your dad jokes, man. I love sneaking in early and seeing you do your jokes. It's hilarious, man. Thanks, dude. They do cheer me up. Good giggle. I hope you're well tonight, Latra. Did you enjoy your steak last night? I'm going to go ahead and move this. I'll leave it up until we start. We'll do a promo. That should be a good one, too. Real-time travelers to Paranormal Universe should be interesting. Still can't believe I spent 2 weeks in Westchester, then 2 in Dayton. I would believe that. I actually spent 2 weeks in Tulsa, came home, turned around, and went up to Cleveland Clinic. So I kind of get what you're saying, but two very long distances. So yeah, I know the story. I'm glad you're safe, bud, and I'm glad you're doing well. Just stay tough, heal up, get that prosthetic. That'll help you get moving and get your butt rocking. I mean, you've been in my prayers, so along with everybody else, I have a whole list. I spent a month in St. Thomas. I'm ready to go back. You're still there? You say I'm ready to go back. Were you, or do you mean you were ready to go back? Or are you still there? Ooh. But I see everybody sounds like they're doing good. You got to keep your spirits up. That's been my key lately, despite the craziness that's been going on ever since I got home. So, and I've seen some stuff. In a hospital stay, I was ready to leave. With the crap I was seeing, I even told the nurse that Thursday morning, look, I ain't staying. I don't care what the doctor says. I have the right to check myself out. I ain't staying. She goes, what's wrong? I said, honey, if you seen the things that I was seeing right now, you wouldn't want to stay either. And she goes, yeah, this floor is pretty bad. And I went, what? She goes, yeah, this floor is pretty bad. I go, what do you mean? I don't think we're talking about the same thing. He goes, oh, I'm sure you're seeing spirits working up and down the hallway and stuff. She says, the room down the hall has been haunted for years. I'm like, what? I wish I was there. Oh, you're ready to go back. Okay. Oh, I'm so done. And yeah, like I said, it was really bad this time. And the night that I arrived at the emergency room, I mean, it was like all hell broke loose. And they knew it. They were seeing it. But we'll talk about that Wednesday. Yeah, I'm going to be a tease about it because it'll be a good Wednesday. But you guys got to let me talk because I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say. Thank God the rehab building I was in is only a year old. Thank God. Yeah, really. I don't know. You know, I went to a hospital that wasn't even a year old. Right after it opened, a year after it opened. And you know, I saw that black-eyed kid there and I was like, holy crap. And I saw him twice while I was there the other week. And it sucked because I couldn't go chasing. Yeah, well, but we survived because there's a reason we survived. There's a reason we keep surviving. There's a reason why we keep trucking on. There's a reason why we keep hanging out. And that's what I keep telling my dad. My dad said to me the other day, I'm tired. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay, but I'm tired. Because I don't understand how I made it to 91. And he goes, I go, Dad, there's a reason. There's something you're here for, to witness or something. Go with it. Who is, or is he following you, Ghost? I don't think he's following me because that's pretty obvious he doesn't see me. It's pretty obvious he doesn't see me. There was a couple times I thought he did, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't see me. I see him, which is weird. But yeah, that black-eyed kid, I've only met one person that even comes close to something like I'm seeing. And he said he's kept seeing his in his mother's nursing home. But there's a video out right now where this guy, where it's a hospital room in another country. And there's a child in bed, and it looks like mom's in bed with the child. And there's a black shadow of a child standing at the foot of the bed. I mean, it's a solid black shadow. And you're watching nurses and doctors pass right through it. Lily passed right through it. And when I looked at that video the second time, I swear, I could see what that shadow was, the black-eyed kid. It was weird. So I have not looked back at that video again because it gave me the chills. I can't look at that video anymore because I saw past the dark shadow that it was showing in the video. I don't know if how I can explain it. Changed my oil this afternoon. Feeling, you're doing car work, huh? You want to do mine while you're at it? Well, mine's been done, but I do need to do some work on my car. Me too. I'm tired. I'm tired too. But I'm going to keep rocking on. What time we got? Let's get this baby rocking here pretty soon. I don't want to feel like we're a bunch of old people complaining. It doesn't do anybody good. It doesn't do anybody good. It's good to do it once in a while. But yeah. We'll be fine, Edna. There's a reason why we're here. In fact, Edna, I know there's a reason why you're here. Now, what that reason is, I couldn't tell you. And if I knew, I still wouldn't tell you. But there is a reason why you're still around, and there's a reason why you're as strong as you are. Because you're still strong. You may think you're weak, but you're not. You're like a couple other people in this room right now. You know, Vixen's a pretty strong woman. She has a purpose. We all have a purpose. Chris has a purpose. I don't think so, Chris. Though some of them come off as observers. But yeah, maybe, maybe not. I would say probably, yeah, I would probably say at least half. I guess you're right. Now that I talk through myself through it, yeah, I'd say probably maybe half of them. You might find that some of them are actually there to comfort. They're not really there for that reason, that they're just to comfort them. Especially elderly people. I've seen it with my own eyes, elderly people talking to somebody that's not there, just having a wonderful conversation. And there's videos of it too, but I've seen it firsthand. It's pretty amazing, and they're happy, and they're counting their blessings. It's pretty amazing to see. And then that person probably had a pretty good life. They lived a good life. Or earned the respect they got. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I would say that's probably true. But there's been a couple cases where I think they were there to take somebody. It wasn't to collect it. They were there to take. Because I've seen some pretty evil stuff in there too. In the hospitals. Some mighty evil stuff. And you knew they were there to collect another evil person. A person that was probably very bad. Or did very horrible things. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Bink. I'm going to drop that. Bink. Click, take. This is the same. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you're probably right there. Grandpappy talked to someone. He threw out his real life and was fishing. Then woke from his coma, looked at me and said, "Where's my supper?" Actually, that was my mom the first time she ended up in the hospital. She kept talking to somebody. We don't know who she was talking to. She was mumbling, but she was not here with us. And when she snapped out of it, it was like she was a different person. But the second time she went, it was not pretty. I stood and I watched that woman pass, and it broke my heart because I know she was being run through it before she took her last breath. Because there would be moments she'd just sit up screaming, just screaming. So, yeah. Then he passed the next morning. Yeah, I watched her go. '70 and gorgeous today. Wow, must be nice. Actually, I was content with our temperature. We were 32, but the sun was out. The sky was blue. We're supposed to be like 40s tomorrow. We're going to go up and down, up and down. I think we even hit 60s a couple times this week. Looks like later on, Edna, you might get some weather. And some people feel that way, Chris. Some people would probably agree with you that our reality is not really a reality; it's just an illusion. I'm not really big on that matrix theory that we're a computer, I kind of have a hard time buying into that, even though they keep saying they can prove it. We can prove a lot of things, but that's another discussion for another day. I'm pretty basic in my thoughts. I'll tell you what, it may not be an illusion as much as a parallel universe or dimensional. Now, I do believe in dimensions. I believe there's other dimensions. I believe that we've tapped into some of these dimensions, sometimes without trying. I think when people play with Ouija boards, they tap into a dimension they probably shouldn't be tapping into. Oh, what we believe isn't true? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying what we believe isn't true. We believe what we believe. makes it so. Kind of the, that didn't even sound right. I ain't even going to say, I want to stop right there before I come off as a ding dong. But I understand what you're saying. I'm pretty sure what I see is pretty real. Pretty sure the reptile men in their spaceship came and healed me. That wasn't a hallucination. Now you never know. We make our own reality. No, I kind of agree with that. You can look at that in definitely different contexts. You can take that. See, I can't talk. You can take that statement, Chris, and use it in different contexts. Because a lot of people think of reality as sure seemed real, and it might have been. I don't know. I wasn't there, Edna. Why I pretty much, I'm like when Gemma says she pretty much believes everything. I pretty much believe what people tell me. I'll know what's sus. I'm pretty good with detail and stuff, so I'll pick out what I find is sus and set it to the side just in case. But other than that, I pretty much, from the crap I've seen, I can imagine what people would think if I told half the stuff that I've seen. They'd probably think I was wackadoodle. But I know what I'm seeing is real because I've seen it consistently. And maybe I'm not in the right reality. I don't know. This is getting too deep for me. I wasn't planning on getting this deep. I don't like speaking deep because I'm not I don't have the vocabulary like I used to have because of life and issues. I don't speak the way I used to be able to speak. It kind of sucks. Grew up in, yeah, I know you're from here, Walter. You grew up in East Cleveland. Spent 5 years in Cincy, Ohio. It's not bad other than the nasty winters. Winters. That's why we love Ohio. But Cleveland, I love Cleveland winters. They're a lot better than what we get. I could live in Cleveland easy. Because then again, I was going to move to Alaska. So they didn't look like the reptilians that most people think they look like. These guys were totally different. You're going to see everybody I've talked to has a different view of the reptilians. And then, then these people kind of group themselves in their own little category. But yeah, I've never seen a reptilian, so I wouldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. But, I'm sure there's different breeds, just like in everything else, just like there's different breeds, different species. I don't know. Races of reptilians, just like there's probably different types of Bigfoot or anything else. Well, Chris, I'm not going to go there because I'm very religious, and I'm not going to touch that subject in her channel. On her channel, she doesn't want us to, so I'm just going to stay out of that conversation because I do believe religion does play a big part, but that's my opinion. It's kind of like the same no pain, no gain. I don't know why that would come to my mind. I'd rather see angels. And the angels are not what you think they are either. I mean, they're scary things. I mean, there are a few angels that kind of look like us, but they don't look like us. I know you don't, Chris. I know you do. And I'm good with that. And I know you are too. So, thumbs up. We're good. Yeah. It's like the lady in the light I see. She projects herself as a woman or is feminine. And she has, she's so bright. I sometimes think I see wings, but it's hard to tell because she's really bright. But I can see a gown. I can see the glowing gold hair. I can see a very bright halo behind her head. But I know that's just what she's projecting to me, to comfort me and make me at ease. Yep, and flaming swords, they come in all sorts of shapes. Eyes within spinning wheels, and cherubs are not pretty. The three heads is usually like a lion, a tiger, and a bear, and a human. They're usually four heads. They're usually animal heads, too. Oh, yeah, there's actually a couple good books. Maybe that's what I'll do one day. I'll come in here and like at speaking time and list off some books that talk about angels and demons. So you guys, I'd like you people to do your own research. I can give my opinion, but it's your folks', you have to do your own research and do your own and gather your own opinions, which I think most of you have that are in here or watching. But let me get this video started and get it rocking, because we're after my time. Even though I am enjoying the conversation, this is called Gemma's Replays for a reason. Let me get this baby up here. We're going to do, and speaking of aliens and all that, we're going to do Lemuria, Crystal City under the Mount Shasta. If everybody's all right with that. Stop. Okay, let me, I hate when I do this. Okay. Present. Okay. And then I'll make her big. And just let me know if you guys have any problems with sound. Okay, let me get this all situated. Okay, there we go. Looks good. Let me get her on the big screen. And
what is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is...
If you guys can't hear it or have any problems, just let me know. Right now I can't see chat. So, but if you have any hearing problems, sounds really good. So enjoy, and I'll be in chat. And let's enjoy it. This is a good one, actually. I remember this one.
Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be discussing the lost continent of Lemuria. Believe it or don't, but please keep an open mind, and let's dive right in. When I first heard of the legends of Lemuria, it was something I kind of stumbled upon completely by accident, which, if I'm being honest, is exactly how I found most of the topics that I discuss here on my channel. But this one's a bit different because technically it's all theoretical, but somewhere deep down in my soul, I feel that it's real. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel a connection with it. Just as I've always believed in Atlantis too, and I'll be covering that really soon as well. As always, I'm going to give you the most accurate information I could find, as we know that most of what we discuss, not only on this channel, but in this community in general, is not technically backed up by facts or evidence. Also, I want to let you all know for the comments, at least here on my channel, skepticism is not only welcomed, but wanted, encouraged. As long as you're respecting my channel and both yourself and others, you're good in my book, so don't worry about it. I have always been and still am completely enthralled with and fascinated by stories like the ones that come from people and that I've been able to come across in my research regarding legends such as Atlantis and Lemuria. So here it is, the legends of Lemuria. The lost civilization of Lemuria is a legend that lies in the Akashic records, and there's even a little bit of scientific evidence to back it up. So let's start with the science. In the 1800s, scientists and most people really believed that Lemuria not only existed, but that that's where our long gone ancestors went to when they passed on. Oh, and guys, wait, I may get some things wrong, and I say it like that wrong because, again, it's theoretical for the most part. So there may be pieces that I report here that are different from what you may have heard. That doesn't mean I'm wrong or you're wrong. This all comes from my psychic intuition and being an earth angel. More on that in the future as well. But I'm going to report only what I feel is true and based in reality. All right. So anyways, it was also believed that they were the ancestors of lemurs as well. This is actually where Lemuria gets its name, as they used it to explain the fact that there were lemur fossils in Madagascar, India, and Africa. It was thought that lemurs originated in Madagascar. So how did they get across the ocean to India and Africa? Because there used to be a continent between them, of course. Now, keep in mind, these theories were created before the continental drift was widely accepted, so land bridge theories were prevalent in this time period. It was also believed that this place was a hearth for humanity, a paradise continent. Back in the 1800s, they believed that humans originated in Asia and migrated to Africa, so Lemuria explained this migration. When I looked up lemur, I only got that definition of those bush baby creatures with the giant eyes, so I don't know. Many people believe this is where these theories started falling apart and that Lemuria was only a legend, allegedly just like Atlantis was. However, in 2013, scientists discovered granite under the Indian Ocean, and this granite was found in the exact spot where Lemuria would have been, according to those who are so sure that it existed. Let's talk a little bit about the spiritual side to all of this. Lemuria was said to exist before and during when Atlantis was still standing. Lemuria is oftentimes known as a paradise for those who dwell in the spiritual realm. It's said that this was also because Lemuria was located at a tropical paradise on the Indian Ocean, so geographically it was an island paradise of sorts anyway. Many psychics and researchers believe that the first starseed people came from Lemuria. Hey, Steve. Steve is our resident starseed person, as are many of you guys. And again, more on that in Earth Angels coming. It's crazy how many people who, when first learning or hearing about Lemuria, not only feel connected to it, but somehow instinctively know deep down somewhere in the depths of their very being that this place is real and did in fact exist. Many starseeds, when having past life regressions, remember living in Lemuria. All around the world, there are legends of a great flood that happened a really long time ago. From the Bible to many Sumerian artifacts that were found, it seems like this flood really is a historic event which was documented differently from different perspectives by many civilizations, both human and those in the spiritual realms. This flood is what many spiritualists theorize brought about the demise of Lemuria. Some believe that the Lemurians were shapeshifters, so when this happened, many of them just shapeshifted into whales, dolphins, or maybe even mermaids. Others could have gone underground, as it's believed that there is a Lemurian civilization under Mount Shasta in California. Some tried to integrate with the rest of the planets, and how much success they have is something I'll most likely talk about in part 2, if I can find enough information about it. And you all know me, I can never stop researching, so I feel like there's so much more to Lemuria than one video can tell. What I wanted to focus on today, though, now that we have some history down, is the Lemurian civilization believed to be under Mount Shasta. This city is believed to be a crystal city, and it's said to be named Telos. Lemuria is one of many cities said to be underneath the Great Mountain, a series of inner Earth complex cities which collectively are called Ekhartha. There are many theories besides the aforementioned flood, which supposedly drove the Lemurian civilization underground. Another of these is the many wars that are always taking place on the Earth's surface. These cities were created as kind of refuges for the people and safe havens for sacred records, teachings, and technologies that were cherished by ancient cultures. According to that legend, there are several entrances to the many cities of Ekhartha throughout the world, and Mount Shasta is one of them. There are many legends to be heard that come from the Native Americans in this particular area of California as well. Many of these legends come with a grave warning. Stay away from the mountain altogether. But why? According to Hopi legend, Mount Shasta, an extinct volcano, is the home of the lizard people, who I did discuss in a previous video. Some California Amerindian tribes consider the mountain forbidden because it was a city allegedly of invisible people. There is said to be a portal too, one that leads directly to this 15,000-year-old civilization, and it is made up of tunnels from the dead volcanoes after the land in which they previously lived was destroyed by volcanoes. Some theorize that Lemuria was established by aliens known as Lemurians, a gentle, peaceful people. Let's take a look at that. That's what I believe. Makes a lot more sense to me than we humans evolved from lemurs. Before the fall in consciousness, the Lemurians lived in a fifth dimensional frequency or dimension and were able to switch back and forth from fifth to third at will. The first souls inhabiting the planet arrived from the land of Mu in the Tao universe about 4.5 million years ago. Among those early arrivals were the ascended masters who are said to be assisting humanity even up to today. Later, they were joined by races from Sirius, the Pleiades, Alpha Centauri, and other systems. And I might be pronouncing some of these wrong. Together, they formed the Lemurian civilization, which became the cradle of civilization on this planet. It was the motherland that assisted in the birth of other civilizations. Atlantis came about in comparatively recent times. The early Lemurians retained their Christ consciousness and expressed their divinity in every single area of their lives. Disease, lack, and limitation were completely unknown to them. 25,000 years ago, Lemuria and Atlantis were the two most highly developed civilizations on the planet. The original intent of the two civilizations was for Atlantis to represent the energies of the divine father, or the divine masculine, and Lemuria to represent the energies of the divine mother, or the divine feminine. They were meant not only to work together for both the benefit of the people, but also to serve as guides and role models for other evolving civilizations and for younger and less experienced souls. Dissension between the two arose regarding the development and evolution of the other civilizations, though, with the Lemurians believing that the other less evolved cultures should be left alone to continue their own evolution at their own pace according to their own understanding and pathway, whereas Atlanteans believed that less evolved cultures should be controlled by the two more evolved civilizations. Their argument over ideologies resulted in several thermonuclear wars which weakened both continental plates. When the wars were over and the dust had settled, there were no winners, only death, destruction, and further debasing of the human spirit, to the point that both sides realized the futility of such behavior. Before the sinking of the continent, Talos, which means communication with spirit, was the name for the eastern portion of Lemuria, consisting of what is now California and part of British Columbia. Today, Talos is only the name of the city the Lemurians built beneath Mount Shasta over 12,000 years ago. Having had plenty of advance warning that they would eventually lose their homeland, the leaders were prompted to come up with a plan to protect and preserve their records, sacred treasures, culture, and most importantly, to relocate to safety all the sacred unfed flames that were focused in their many temples. They decided to build an underground city that would be free from any surface disruptions or discord. The priesthood knew that Mount Shasta would be safe during the coming earth changes, so the leaders petitioned the head of the Agartha network of subterranean cities for permission to build a city beneath the mountain. The starting point for constructing their own city was a large domed cavern inside the mountain and various natural tunnels and volcanic tubes. Using their mastery of energy, crystals, sound, and vibration, they hollowed out space for the city. Construction continued for several thousand years to complete the city designed to hold 200,000 people. The original height of mankind on this planet was approximately 12 feet tall. The Hyperboreans were and still are 12 feet tall, and none of them live on the surface at this time. By the time Lemuria sank, the Lemurians were reduced to 7 feet tall and still are 7 to 8 feet tall to this day. I just want to say the Hyperboreans, those are probably the giants that everyone is seeing in, near, and around Mount Shasta because they live in Lemuria under and inside the mountain. And there has still been a further lowering of height on this planet, for most of us on the surface are 6 feet tall or less. As our civilization evolves, this will be restored. Even now, people on the surface of this planet are becoming much taller than they were only 100 years ago. Talos is a fairly large city with a population of about 1.5 million. There are several villages all sharing the local government, and Talos is divided into 5 levels of several square miles beneath Mount Shasta. The first level is where the largest percentage of the people live. They reside beneath the dome, and this is on the first level. They have their homes here. This is also where the administrative and public buildings and several temples are situated. In the center of this level stands the main temple, called the Temple of Mara, a pyramid-shaped structure. It will seat 10,000 people at a time, and this temple is dedicated to the priesthood of the Melchizedek. The pyramid is white with the capstone called the, quote, living stone, donated to them from Venus. The second level is where all of the production and manufacturing is done to meet the needs of the people. It also contains several schools for children and adults as well. Though not as many people live here as on the first level, there are still a great deal more residing here on the second level than on the levels below it. It has the second highest population of all 5 levels. The third level is completely made up of hydroponic gardens where all of their food is grown on just 7 acres of land. Their gardening methods are extremely effective, and therefore 7 acres of land is all they need to cultivate enough food for at least 1.5 million people. The hydroponic gardens never stop producing crops. They can grow food much faster using advanced hydroponic technology with very little soil and a lot of water. They also don't use any chemicals like we do on the surface. Their food is completely organic and, like the Lemurians themselves, of the highest vibration. Their form of gardening does not need fertilizers and does not deplete the soil. They do place organic minerals into the water for the plants. Crops are enhanced and quickened by the great light, energy, and love vibration of Talos itself, just from the atmosphere of this place. This is said to be the magic of their 5th dimensional consciousness that hopefully one day soon we'll all discover. The 4th level contains some hydroponic gardening, some manufacturing, and a large area for nature parks. The 5th level is totally dedicated to nature. This is where all of the animals are kept. The scenery is tall and healthy trees and beautiful clean lakes as far as the eye can see. The Lemurians have been able to preserve many of the plants and animals that have gone extinct here on the surface, or wherever you want to call here where we live. There is never any slaughtering of one species by another. It seems that predator-prey dynamic that's inherent in our wild animals doesn't exist in the Lemurian animals. Actually, every single one of their animals are vegetarians and don't eat meat, let alone each other. They live side by side in total harmony without fear and without any aggression towards people or toward each other. Talos is said to be really the place where the lion and the lamb lay side by side and sleep together at night with both eyes shut in total confidence. Okay, I know all of this sounds great and all, but what's my point? I've come across some research that says that the Lemurians are starting to reach out to a chosen few of us humans to invite us and come and visit the city of Talos. Apparently, they're choosing specific people, starseeds and people with Lemurian blood in particular, to come and visit and then spread the word to others about their kind. They want us to become like them, ascended and existing on a higher vibration. The problem is there are still so many non-believers and also so much evil and pain in our world. There's a book out which allegedly chronicles a conversation a woman had with some Lemurians. I'm not sure of the whole pretense of the book, but I want to talk about it maybe in the next video because it was really interesting. Lemuria still exists in a 4th and 5th dimensional frequency, not yet visible to our 3rd dimensional vision and perception. As the veil between the dimensions becomes increasingly thinner, Lemuria, in her new splendor and glory, will reveal herself to us in a very physical and tangible way. As we open ourselves up to a more conscious way of living and purify ourselves of all distorted and erroneous belief systems we have embraced in the last millennia, we will be able to perceive our beloved motherland once again and eventually be allowed to step in to be received by her with all the love and splendor she now has to offer. So while they want people with Lemurian blood and starseeds, they want others as well, us earth angels, or just good, decent people that are human. Many people I've met through this platform have been just starting, most at a much older age, to come to terms with their own spirituality. Many of them are empaths or psychics and never even were willing to acknowledge it. I've met so many starseeds and so many earth angels and know this is where I belong. I sense a great spiritual awakening in the decades to come, and I hope I'm still here to see it when it finally happens. Lemuria sounds more beautiful than anything our minds could ever imagine, and that's precisely why I really believe it exists. Please, guys, keep searching, keep being true to yourself, as imperfect as you may be, and please keep an open mind. So many of the people I talk to, guide, and meet with on a regular basis were bullied out of ascending spiritually on a regular timeline, and as I said, haven't been able to gain the strength or courage to embark on their personal spiritual journeys until way later on. This is perfectly okay and all good, except imagine how much more light and love there would be on the planet now had the millions of people who were forced or coerced into dimming their lights hadn't done so. Just something to think about. And I am going to have more on Lemuria, and I'm working on Atlantis as well. I'm also trying to find out if Lemuria is the crystal city that someone allegedly saw inside Mount Shasta. There's so much information, guys. You wouldn't even believe it. And I have a lot more coming. I'm trying to do a 7 days of Halloween type thing. So bear with me. All right. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed spending this time with me. Subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure your notification bell is turned on. Okay. And spread the love by sharing this video. Please also do me the biggest favor and check out the description box. The 3 live streams that Steve Stockton
Yeah, I shut it off there. Hold on, let me hold on. Back. You're right. Gotta be quiet. 1 sec. Pull up my next video in case we decide to go there. Haven't decided yet. 1 sec. Come here, video. I keep overlapping. It's funny, actually. I was going to try to. Where'd he go? I do this every time. I think I went too far. Yes, I did. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Okay, come on. Let me start over again. I gotta start over again. Oh my goodness. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. Yeah, I have that whole Shasta, Mountain Shasta. I mean, I've heard all kinds of freaky stories from that place. Interesting ones, a lot of Bigfoot. One second, I'm still scrolling here. This is the thing about doing this by myself is there's going to be dead air. I don't like it, but much I can do about it. And I do. I keep scrolling too far. Where are you? Where are you? There's more information on it. Oh, that's the. Wait, did I do that one already? I want to do this one first. So 1 second. I know what I'm going to do next week. Okay. 1 second. I'm just trying to find it. I just had it. Here we go. We're going to do Men in White next. But if we do another one. Oops. Yeah, I always shut her down because these are old videos, so a lot of the stuff she talks about the end of these clips no longer exists. So I like to go there. See, I've always wanted to check out Mount Shasta. I know Brown Door goes there quite a bit. I hear a lot of good Bigfoot stories come out of there. A lot of other good stories. A lot of weird UFO stuff. I would love to go check that place out. You know, Mount Fuji's kind of not in the one. I can't say the Japanese name for it, but I don't know. I can't say the American term for the forest, but it's where they do themselves in forest. I've been there, and it's creepy. But if you go around that whole Mount Fuji, there are spots on that mountain, not just that one spot, that have this kind of otherworldly feel to them. And when you get closer to the, I call it the tree cutoff, when you start hitting the higher elevations, it gets kind of interesting. So, but it's a neat place, a beautiful sea. And that's, you know, I got to see Mount Fuji. I guess I should go see. Thank you, Chris. I'm just not going to try to say it. I know what it is. I just can't say it because of the R's in it. Oh, you're good. You're good, Cliff. Yeah, the end of those are just older videos, so it's a lot about her and Steve Stockton. They don't work together anymore. Those are the days gone by. Lemur. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But, I've heard that before, that, a lot of people think that there's some people out there's a few, but there are some people out there that believe that lemurs may have been a part of the human process. I don't know. But anything's up for speculation, because I have a hard time believing any more of the stuff I keep getting out of science. But science is starting to change too, so we'll see what happens. The Okinawa. In a day I'd be able to say it. But yeah, that's an interesting place. My cousins wouldn't even go in. I went in about halfway and started getting really bad vibes, so I left. I came back out. Then there's ribbons and stuff all over the place from people going in, and they leave ribbons in case they change their mind. They can find their way back out. It's creepy. I heard they do a little bit more job about going in there and checking a lot more now. So, but it's a creepy place. It is a very creepy place. But Mount Fuji is beautiful, but there are places you go around the Fuji. There are spots that are very otherworldly, especially when you run into some of the older temples and stuff. It feels like you're in a whole different place. Well, you feel like you're in Japan, but you're in a whole different time and era. But I'm going to get ready to set this next one up, if that's okay with everybody. And I'm glad you're learning, Cliff. Welcome to the club. Well, I'm always learning. I always try to broaden my horizons. Like I said, you can't form your opinions if you don't do your own research and learn and listen. Sometimes it's good from, to get all the aspects. I try to take all the information from every sides. Look at all the different views. Okay, let me get this other one rocking. This one's a little longer. It's basically 28 minutes and a half. It is a newer one from 2 years ago. And this is Men in White. Let's go for the flick back look this time. Okay. This one did have a premiere, but I thought it'd be a good one to show. I'm trying to mix up, but next week I think I'm going to do. She's got 2 Women in Black that I think I'm going to play together next Saturday. But let's do this one. And it was a premiere at one time, and I don't like doing past premieres, but I thought it'd be a nice, good long one to end the night with before we chat a little bit before we call it an evening. So here we go. Let me get it brought up. Here we go. Let me load up for you folks. Have any problems, please let me know. I will put my mic on mute. Enjoy, folks.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is GemmaJade, but today we are going to be discussing the Men in White. I know you guys at first glance might be thinking there's some kind of typo in the title.
Her sound is a little off on this one, so you may have to turn it up a bit.
That is not the case. I had to do a double take when I first came across the initial information of this phenomenon too, because we are, of course, so used to hearing about the Men in Black.
She's got kind of an echo.
It's the same with black-eyed kids and white-eyed kids. And while I was able to do that one video, just one, on white-eyed kids and some encounters with them, I've yet to find anything else that's credible about them at all, though it hasn't stopped me from continuing to look. I'm about to give you guys everything I have on this phenomenon so far, but know that I will keep searching and digging and researching until I find more, and then I'm able to bring you that. Let's review for just a moment the Men in Black. They are the mysterious gentlemen, all dressed in black, but who aren't very gentlemanly.
Yeah, folks, you may have to adjust your sound.
Their female counterparts roam around at the fringes of our imaginations and even of our dreams sometimes, and absolutely terrify most of us who come across them. They tend to go after and harass, possibly even threaten people who have either seen UFOs, abductees and or contactees. Well, now it seems a similar phenomenon is coming into the forefront of our minds, imaginations, and lives, and that's the phenomenon of the men in white. As far as I can tell, there really isn't much of, if any, connection between the two types of men, and the following encounters are admittedly much rarer as of when I'm writing and will be filming this, but also they seem a lot harder for me and others to categorize as well. There is a very well-known sense of malevolence and deeply ingrained fear that seems to come just from looking at or being in the general vicinity of the MIB that is only sometimes evident in their white-clad counterparts. They seem just as sinister, if not more so, in some cases. So, iron out your finest white clothes and see if you can blend in, or at least keep up with, these shadowy and strange men in white. Let's jump right in. Our first encounter comes from a young man who had just been dropped off at school by his mother, like he had been every other school day on any other normal day. However, he claims that as he exited the vehicle, he saw something strange across the street that made him stop there dead in his tracks. There was a shady and sinister looking man standing right there. He explained, quote, "I saw a man in a nice white suit wearing a white fedora standing outside my school. His back was to me at first, but as my mom stopped the car, he turned around. His face looked like it was made of cracked porcelain, and his eyes were white except for the pitch black dot of the pupil in the middle. He gave off the most horrible vibes ever. He pointed at me, tipped his hat, and grinned to reveal a nice set of fangs. He said, 'You.' Then he disappeared," end quote. Our witness said it seemed as though no one else was paying attention to this weird-looking stranger, including his mother, and because of this and the fact it seemed like no one had even seen him there at all besides our witness, he decided not to mention it and go on about his day. However, he would see the man again later on in the day, which was scary, but also sort of a relief to him because he had been questioning his own sanity ever since he had seen the man in the morning. However, when he was with some friends by the school's baseball fields, both he and the friend he was with saw him. So, despite being really scared and creeped out, at least he knew he wasn't losing his mind. This time, the man just stood there staring intently at our witness and his friend, but then he vanished just as quickly as he seemed to have appeared. This was very strange to say the least, but the witness and his friend just tried to forget all about it. A few nights later, though, there would be something very troubling that would happen that would make all of this very hard to forget about. He said, quote, "I ignored the man in the white suit, but I soon learned that I shouldn't have ever ignored him. One night at around 3 in the morning, I had gotten up to use the restroom and was going back to bed when my closet door opened and the man in the white suit came out with a scruffier looking man. They pulled me from my bed and began to do something to me. I fell into a sort of limbo state where I couldn't speak or see, but I could hear and feel. The scruffy man said that he wasn't sure if I would survive this. My chest felt like it was on fire, and I felt someone reaching around inside of me. Then it stopped, and they both disappeared. When I fully came to, I was laying on the floor across my room, and my chest was bright red, and I had scratches on my chest and shoulders. My closet door was also open, and I never leave it open because an open closet at night terrifies me. The same thing happened a few weeks later to my friend who saw the men in the white suits. To this day, I'm still not sure what they did. I do know that I'm a lot more in touch with the supernatural than I ever was before. I wish I could remember his name, and I wish I knew what they did," end quote. By his name, I think he is either talking about the entities, which he doesn't say that either one of them said or stated or called the other one by a name, but I think he could possibly have meant his friend who he alleges this also happened to. So guys, I went through a series of thoughts throughout this encounter. When I read the first part about him seeing the figure or man outside of the school, I was skeptical. Not because I don't want to believe wholeheartedly that there are vampires lurking around out there. I mean, if you know me by now, you should definitely know that, especially the well-dressed kind like we see on TV, but because of the way he described it. However, going forward with the rest of what he had to say, I came to the conclusion that regardless of what it is, there's definitely something supernatural going on here. I immediately thought of the energetic vampirism we are constantly discussing here on this channel because the first sighting seemed to be for no other reason than to either scare the young man or maybe the entity or whatever it was simply doing something else there at the school that day and thought no one could see him. So when he realized he might have been spotted, decided to see for sure. I'm sure, I don't know, but I have been thinking about this and trying to wrap my head around it, figure it out at length. I mean, I've been thinking about it, but haven't come up with anything concrete, obviously. As far as the third alleged encounter, the night when the two men in white came into his bedroom from his closet, if what the man claims is true, though, in that he has been much more supernaturally open and possibly spiritually inclined since that event, I would have to guess that maybe these two men in white that came out of his closet were the cause. But why would they go in and open him up intentionally, even more so if my initial assumption was true in that they don't want to and aren't used to being seen? Then why would they do something like open him up even more to such sightings and possibly even more knowledge? One more guess is that perhaps they realized he was special in some way, and maybe where they're from, having fangs and being creepy isn't creepy at all or sinister, and maybe they realized he was special and are going to either use him for something, most likely without his knowledge, either in the future or from that night on. Let me know what you all think in the comments below, please. Our next witness, who I found on Reddit, claims to have had several encounters with beings he calls men in white who seem to fit the usual description, but who he feels are types of guardian angels of sorts. He said that he and his son were at an apple festival near their home, and while they were about to park on one of the dirt roads to gain access to the festival, this is what he says happened. Quote, due to the festival's popularity, their parking lot was filled and people had started parking along the side of the road outside of the farm. I had to park at the bottom of a long hill on a patch of dirt next to a ditch so that my car couldn't block the road. By the time we were gone, there were no longer any new cars parking. Several of the cars around me were gone, and no one was near the bottom of the hill where I was parked. When I tried to get out of the spot, my tires just kept flipping up loose rocks and couldn't gain any traction. I kept trying to leave, but my car wouldn't move. I was about to get out, thinking that maybe I should trek back up to the farm to ask for help, when a huge white SUV pulled up beside me. Now, mind you, I don't know where this guy came from because I kept checking my mirror when I was trying to get out of my spot and had a clear view up the hill for any potential cars coming and would have seen a large white vehicle coming. Out of this car came this big guy with a white shirt, white baseball cap, and white shorts, and he called out, "Do you need some help?" and proceeded to go to the back of my car and gives it a huge push, and we basically sailed out of our rut and right out onto the road. I called out thank you and waved, and he waved back, and I kept driving on, and he followed me, but when I turned at a bend, I lost sight of him, end quote. So before we get into his next encounter, let's break this one down a little bit. I don't see this being related to our usual Men in Black phenomenon, and I wouldn't classify this as MIW or Men in White either, although it could be an encounter with a guardian angel or some sort of good Samaritan who just likes the color white. It brings to mind the question as to whether or not these entities drive white SUVs instead of the sleek, black, and usually old-fashioned vehicles their black-clad counterparts are known to roll around in. The next time this witness claims to have encountered these so-called guardian men in white entities, he said of it all, quote, the next story took place nearly 20 years ago while I was driving home from college. It was a 4-hour drive, and while I was still on the highway, a dump truck entered the highway and got right in front of me. I kept my distance and was looking for an opportunity to switch lanes when the dump truck's tarp flew off and covered my windshield completely. But instead of freaking out, a calm just came over me, and a voice right in the car, even though I was alone, said, "Speed up and leave the steering wheel as it is." I followed the directions even though I thought I would crash any second, and the speed I was going, I managed to whip the tarp from my windshield and it flew off the highway into the trees. When I looked, the dump truck was far away, but I was flanked by two little white cars, kind of like Toyota Corollas, and I felt really safe between the two of them. I thought at the time this was funny because I was also driving a white Toyota Corolla, and I thought, we must be a sight driving on the highway like a white car caravan. At the next exit, both the car in front and the car in back exited, and I continued driving home, end quote. Again, these waters are a bit too muddy for me, and I would classify these so-called encounters as possible, possible guardian angel encounters. But for lack of more information on or run-ins with the MIW we are looking for today, meaning the ones sort of the same as their usual MIB counterparts, I would have left these ones for another video altogether. But I was trying to show that there are all different types of men in white phenomenon, just like not all men in black encounters are the sinister kind. You know, you could meet a well-dressed man in a black suit who's just not a good person, right? Doesn't have to be the paranormal type that we're always trying to kind of put together in our minds. Does that make sense? What I was basically trying to say is, if I had had more encounters of the sinister kind that kind of, I guess, fit my agenda at trying to compare them to the Men in Black, I would have left the guardian angel ones out. From the site True Ghost Tales comes another odd and hopelessly unclassifiable account of an alleged Men in White encounter. Our witness was walking to work during the daytime and said of what happened next, quote, "To get to my work, I have to walk past a fire station. As I walked past, in the corner of my eye, I saw a man standing in the middle of the fire station grounds. He was wearing a white suit and he had white hair. It made me jump a little because he was just standing there staring at me, but as I quickly looked up, there was no one there. I didn't stop until I got into work, but I did look back a few times to make sure no one was behind me. I didn't get a bad vibe from him, so I'm not too worried about it. Also, opposite the fire station, there's an elderly people's homes. So I thought perhaps he might have been looking at that instead of me, and I just happened to catch sight of him," end quote. So first of all, this, I don't know if it's just the way it was worded, but it made me skeptical because it said that he saw the man staring at him, right? Or at least staring in his general direction, general vicinity of him. But then it says, when I looked up, he was gone. How do you look at someone staring at you and then look up and they're gone? That would require you looking down first. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I wonder if the reason this witness didn't get a bad vibe is because either the man in white in this case didn't know he had been seen, or because the man in white wasn't there for him and possibly was there for someone in the old folks' home across the street from where he was. Maybe the man in white disappeared because he had been seen by our witness. I guess we'll never know, but as reports come in more and more, I'm starting to think that maybe these men in white aren't anything at all related to their black-clad counterparts. I don't know why, guys. It's like super duper disappointing to me. I'm pretty disappointed at this. Other people may think that perhaps this guy was just reading too much into a random and perfectly normal encounter, but I mean, why would he associate it with this phenomenon at all? I always like to imagine that there's a reason when someone puts two and two together, especially in the paranormal community. The reason I'm disappointed is because when I first heard about this phenomenon, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, more of these sinister men. And I guess I just find that more interesting personally. But again, it's not going to stop me from bringing you the facts as I know them. Our next encounter comes from someone who is actually recounting an experience his mother had. So in essence, his mother is the actual witness, and he's just telling the story that she told him. He said his mom was running late one day for an appointment and got stuck at a red light. She was really frustrated by this because she was already so late as it was. As she stood there on the corner waiting for the light to change so she could cross the street and be on her way, she saw a very well-dressed man standing across the street from where she was, and his impeccable way of dressing is what made him stand out so much and made him so noticeable. He was wearing a neatly pressed white suit, his shoes looked like they had just been cleaned or shined, and he even had on a white top hat. The odd part, though, is that there were other people walking on the street who were passing by this man, and it was almost like nobody else could see him. Nobody else noticed him. They weren't walking through him or anything like that, but it's like they were absent-mindedly walking around him without even acknowledging his presence. The witness's son said of what his mother described to him, quote, "I live in a city where things like this are not common. People would usually stare or take pictures if you wore something like that, but nobody noticed the man except for my mom. The man noticed my mom looking at him and went up to my mom and said with a smile, 'You're very lucky.' My mom found it quite strange, but she was in such a hurry she couldn't really process anything except for the fact that she was late for a meeting. So my mom just gave a quick nod. At the same time, the light turned green and my mom started to cross the road, but couldn't stop thinking about how peculiar the whole thing about the man was. So she turned back to look, but the man was now gone. There was no way the man could have just disappeared because there were no corners or alleyways to hide in. Plus, he stood out so much in the crowd that you can notice him from far away," end quote. I feel like there should be more to this story, like what happened either before or after the alleged encounter that could possibly be the reasoning for the man in white to say the woman was lucky. Was it a compliment, an observation? Maybe even it could have been some sort of sinister threat, but with no further information. Frustratingly, but as usual, we'll never know what the intention was behind what was said to her. Our next encounter comes from Reddit, and the witness said he was out walking with his friends one night and remembers that the moon above them was very bright and full. As he sat down on a bench in the park to admire the moon and just take in the gorgeous night, his friends decided they would go to a nearby supermarket for whatever reason, and he was left there alone on that park bench. He said after a little while he decided to go and find his friends and got up, heading to the grocery store, but as he hurriedly turned a corner, something happened. This is what he said of the encounter. Quote, as I turned the corner, I immediately stopped dead in my tracks to see a tall African American man who was dressed entirely in white staring me dead in the eyes. The thing that stuck with me was not only what he said next, nor even his height, which had to be at least 6'4", but it was the way his eyes were fixed on mine. You see, before I turned the corner, I was looking at the exact spot where my field of vision expanded to reveal his eyes. It explicitly felt as though he had been looking directly at me through the stone walls. I stopped, and with him looking at me, he said these exact words: "You're bright, you're blessed." I just kind of nodded and walked around him to the store. But before I went in, I reflected on the way he seemed to have been looking at my eyes even before I saw him. I think the reason I consider this paranormal is a combination of the fact that I've never forgotten the memory, particularly the peculiar staring and his words, then subsequent disappearance, end quote. Now, of course, it could have been this was just some guy who was wearing really clean white clothes who liked to stand around corners preemptively blessing people and then running the full length of a city block to hide in case they turned around or did a double take. I find this incredibly interesting for a few reasons, guys. First of all, it's extremely rare to encounter a man in black who isn't oddly pale, white, sometimes grossly so. Secondly, the height of the man. While 6'4" isn't gigantic, depending on your own height, it is a bit taller than normal. I was also intrigued by what the man allegedly said to our witness, because this is another, just like the previous one, where the woman was told she was lucky. This guy was told he was bright and blessed. I was wondering if this could possibly be a comment about the witness's inner light, and maybe it was the same for the woman in the previous encounter, in that if a person has a certain type or level of brightness, they can't be touched or are protected from whatever these entities are. This is all, of course, just my own speculation, guys, but I feel like there's some sort of connection and innuendo
Actually,
here
it kind
that
of
my
makes
mind can
sense.
almost touch, but not quite. Also, this witness brings up a very valid point, in my opinion. Why are there such vivid memories of these seemingly random events? I mean, remembering something creepy or weird that happened to us for a little while is understandable, but for years and years after the fact, and to remember in such great detail, I don't know. It's just strange to me. Sometimes the men in black don't seem as though they are paranormal, or, as I wholly believe, they are extraterrestrial either. And it's only by the primal feelings that seem to emerge in us that we encounter them. Usually fear or dread, but a lot of the time, just that something is somehow off, that we can't quite put our fingers on, that makes the encounter seemingly anything of value and or substance. It's like we just kind of connect with the fact that there's something wrong or off, right? There are some reports that I come across of encounters with men in white that seem to allude to them being more of a paranormal presence than that of an extraterrestrial one. This next one comes from Your Ghost Stories and happened in the United States in Virginia. This is another one where the person recounting the events is retelling an encounter that their mom had originally told them. Our witness said, quote, sometime in the middle of the night, she woke up with a feeling of being watched. When she looked at the door, there was a tall man with a long beard at the door looking at her. Problems about that. 1, she had never seen him before. 2, besides my parents and Elle being there, no one else should have been there. 3, even if someone had come in the house and upstairs, my parents would have heard them since their room was right near the stairs. Anyway, the man had on a white suit and was looking at her like, what in the world are you doing in my house, lady? She was so scared. There had recently been a murder down the road, and she wondered if the killer was in the house. She tried to get her slipper to bang it on the floor to get my dad up there. No one heard the slipper, but finally she was able to scream for my dad. Before he could get there, the man had disappeared. A few months later, my dad was cleaning a squirrel out of a room in the house where the owners stored their belongings when he came across a picture of a tall man with a beard in a white suit. He showed it to Elle, and she said she did not believe in ghosts, but that looked like the man she saw that night. It turned out that the man was a former owner of the house. He didn't die in the house. He could have been buried in the family cemetery in front of the house, but we don't know, end quote. First of all, I don't think anyone's going to hear you banging a slipper like this. A slipper. Unless it was an indoor-outdoor slipper. I mean, I don't know. As you can see, guys, I'm not so sure about this one, to be honest. And while you all know how I feel about completely disregarding anyone's encounters, I was fully on board until the last bit about the cemetery and the alleged killer in the neighborhood. Who knows, though, because stranger things, as we know, have and do happen. After going through these few encounters, I chose these ones out of a list of ones I had here, and also I tried to switch it up because it seems as though there could be several different things going on here. I believe there are ghosts who appear and who mostly don't know they're dead and end up looking very confused at the quote unquote people in their house, just as the actual living person in the home is confused by the presence of the ghost and or spirit itself. There are more encounters. I just have to keep on digging because I believe that while one of these encounters, if it's to be believed, was a ghost and nothing more, I believe another one was just someone possibly reading too much into someone being oddly dressed and just seeming to stand there randomly across the street from an old folks home. There are a couple of few here, though, guys, that have definitely piqued my interest about this phenomenon. And I wonder if light workers, whether a person realizes that's what they are or not, are perhaps either untouchable due to some laws that we have no idea about, or maybe that they don't taste the same, whether the entity or whatever it is feeding on their fear or their blood, their energy, something else. I'm sure I don't know. Let me know what you all think in the comments below, guys. As always, that's all I have for you today, guys. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, enjoyed spending this time with me, and just want to see me smile. Spread the love by sharing this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. So when I release this, it should be Monday, November 28th, 2022. And this is, at least I'm hoping, going to be my last pre-recorded video before I start the new format, which will be, instead of uploading videos like this to premiere twice a week, I am going to start bringing topics to discuss with you all twice a week, probably from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, and then maybe if it
I'll stop it there because she still plans on doing something like that, I think. Hold on. Let me get that out of my hair. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I think she does plan on doing still something like that. So just hang tight, folks. Let her get through her thing. We're all going through something. So, but wide eye, all white people, well, white people in white, all white. And I'm saying people because I've also seen an image. Well, it wasn't an image. It was really weird. There was this lady that I went to the store. I got my groceries. I park in the front because I park in the handicap. I mean, I have handicap. And Dad was sitting in the car. And I load the groceries up and he's going, "What are you watching?" There's this lady, this poor lady, probably in her 80s, standing in front of the doors coming out. She's standing there with a full shopping cart. And she's looking all panicked. She's looking sad. Yeah, hold on a minute, Dad. So I go over and I talk to her and find out that she's waiting for an Uber driver. I said, "Are you going to be okay?" And she said, "Yeah, they should have been here by now." I said, "Okay." So I left. So I got in the car and I left. And something didn't feel right. So I took Dad home, loaded the groceries in. Giles helped put them away because he was here. And I got back in the car and I left. And I went back to the store. Something told me to go back. I went back, pulled up, and she was still standing there with all these groceries. But the weird thing was there's this white. It looked like a human, but it wasn't human. It was just this white kind of blob behind her. And I go up to her and I go, "You're still waiting?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, where do you live?" And she goes, "Just up the road. It's too much to push this cart up there." I go, "Well," I loaded up her groceries and I took her home to her groceries. She lived in an apartment complex, actually not even 5 minutes from my house. So I drop her off. I carry her groceries up to the apartment for her. And she said, her and her roommate will get the rest. And I put them down. And as I turned to leave, she goes, "You're a very bright young man." I go, "Well, thanks. I don't think I'm that intelligent." She goes, "No, you're very bright." She goes, there's something special about you. Remember that, okay? And it made me feel good. But I was more worried about, this poor lady it was kind of chilly that day. And that's all I wanted to do was make sure she got home with her groceries. And as I leave, I'm waiting because I have to go up an elevator. As I waiting for the elevator, her roommate comes out and looks at me, and they're talking to each other. I can hear them talking to each other. I couldn't hear what they're saying. And her roommate, another little old lady goes, "You are so bright. You shining all this hallway up like a light bulb. You be good, young man. There's plans for you." And I was like, okay, bye. I've done that a couple times where I've gone to the store and seen these women standing, these old women. There's an old folks center, or I shouldn't say, there's an assisted living / nursing home right next to the place I shop at. Then down the road, there's they call it the Worthington Towers, which a lot of older people rent. And then we have Broad Meadows, which a lot of the older folks rent up the top, and some of it's Section 8 down the bottom. But most of them are elderly people. You know how many times I've stopped on High Street watching some old lady pushing one of these carts filled to the T, trying to get up the street, and I've stopped and offered them to take them home and get them home safely. No longer in a rut. Okay. What are you talking about? Latra, no longer in her rut. What rut? What rut? But I'm known to do that. It wouldn't be the first. It hadn't been the first, and it wasn't the last. I still do it. If I see somebody struggling, I stop. Especially when it comes to elderly. I see my dad. And this poor old lady at the gas station was trying to fill a gas tank up. I felt so bad for her. I had to help her do that. I helped her do that and made sure that she paid and everything. Yeah, that's who I am. I guess I am a helper. I try to be. And that's the problem with this world. There's not enough of us out here. We all need to start, kind of backing each other. Some more than a few people have said I have a bright or and I have said old soul. There's a lot of old souls here. And there's probably one. Everybody says I am, but if I'm an old soul, I'm a young soul inside of an old soul. Because you ask my kids, I'm very kid-like. I still experience things like a child. Even if I've experienced it twice before, I still experience just like a child every time. Yeah, and Anna probably has heard that a couple times. I'm sure all of you guys have. So what that means for me? Just means you've been around in past lives. A lot of people think old souls are people who lived a lot longer than they realize. Been around for a long time, lived many lives, seen many things. Even though you may not have in this life, you probably have in past lives. So an old soul is literally a soul that's been around a long time. It's a good thing, and it's a positive thing. It means that there's something. I look at old souls as somebody who's been guided through life. A lot of people will say different things, but old soul is somebody who's here for a reason. Their job, they have a job to do, and they're constantly brought back to keep doing that job because they're good at what they do. But other people will tell you differently. Don't know things about. I don't know you. Don't you know the things that you shouldn't know, Cliff? Like, yeah, that's the other thing. Like, since you were a kid, like sometimes I remember things, and I don't know how I remember them, and I don't ever remember doing them. It's like the dreams I have. I have dreams, really intense dreams of Shogun battles. I actually believe that at one time in my past life or something, I was a swordsman, a Japanese samurai, because I have very vivid dreams of very violent battles. with swords and samurais and arrows, and it's crazy. And somebody will say something, and then something will just pop out of my head, and I don't know how I knew it. Don't know didn't you know the things that you should know now, Cliff? Like since you were a kid. I'm thinking about that now, Edna. But that's me. I'm weird anyways. I've managed to keep 5 people in the room the whole time. Thank you, 5 people. I've known people come and go. Some people kind of come in and realize it's not Gemma's not here, so that's fine. I'm just glad they stop in. I hope everybody's leaving likes. Please make sure you leave likes. And those popping in and out, please make sure you leave a like. Hit that thumbs up. Not for me, but for Gemma. Look at that boat. So I was eating bugles. I had to eat. I was getting I was thirsty, but I was, trying to beat that. The nicotine fit. So I nibble every so often. So I was eating some bugles. Wiser than your years, so to speak. Yes. That's probably the best way to put it. You're wiser than your years. That is probably the best way you could put it. Since I'm not very good with words. You'll find, Cliff, that I'm not very good. I don't mind talking, and I can ramble with the best of them once you get to know me. But I because of my Tourette's, I have issues. Eat blueberries, Ghost. Why? I love blueberries. I eat a lot of blueberries. I love blueberries. Yeah, I love blueberries. In fact, I just had a blueberry muffin, so it's kind of funny you said that not too long ago. No, I just wanted some bugles. I needed something salty. I do have, I've been eating, you ready for this, Edna? Vixen, if she's still listening, sent me chocolate-covered blueberries. Oh, they're so good. So I've been babying them. They are good for you. I know they are. A lot of antioxidants and all the good fun stuff in them. But yeah, she sent me, so I guess the chocolate kind of out kills the goodness in them. But man, they're good. Yeah, I've been babying those. Whole bag of chocolate-covered blueberries. Ooh, they were good. It actually went as good as I was like, I wonder if they're really good because I've never had them before, but man, they're good. She also sent me a huge bag of the Boston beans. I like berries. For some reason, I can't do strawberries. I don't know why, but every time I eat strawberries, I gag. I can drink strawberry flavoring. I can eat strawberry Pop-Tarts, but I can't eat a strawberry for some reason. Every time I try to eat a strawberry, I gag on it. I don't know why. That's like cabbage. I don't mind cabbage. I can eat stuff with cabbage in it, but I made cabbage rolls once before to see if I could make them, because I haven't made them for Pop yet. And they about killed me. So, but I know he'll like them. Bananas. See, my dad's a banana guy. I used to love bananas. I don't eat bananas like I probably should. I used to love bananas on my Cheerios. Yeah, they do have a lot of acid in them. You have to cut the white part out of the crown that holds the acid. Oh, is that what they do? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I send those chocolate-covered strawberries to Gemma, man. She pounds those suckers down. I can see why they look pretty tasty. I didn't know what that was. Is that what that is? That white thing is the acid? I didn't know that. Now I know. Yeah, but some reason I just can't eat them. Maybe that's why. Maybe I should cut that out and see if I try one and see if it makes a difference. I didn't know that, Edna. So you just taught me something new. Next time I'll try to cut the white part out and see if I have any problem with it. Your granny taught you that? I'm surprised my grandmas were interesting women, so. They had enough on their plate telling me stuff like that. Actually, my grandma Davis, my dad's mom, she wasn't a very talkative woman. Now, my grandma, who was really my aunt, we come to find out later, now she had some great stories. And on both sides of the family are from the Appalachians, the hills, all over the place. Especially when you're canning and or making jams. Ooh, interesting. Now, see, I'm kind of bummed. My ex used to do a lot of canning and jarring. And she used to make like a tomato sauce, but it wasn't like spaghetti sauce or ketchup. It was kind of like in between, and you could usually literally use it for everything. She used to make that, and that stuff was always so good. And you could literally turn it into spaghetti sauce, or you could turn it into, you could even make it ketchup. It was awesome the way she made it, and I kind of missed that. I forgot I had Gemma a number from months ago. I was cleaning up my phone and came across it. I sent her a text and I forgot to say my name. No, that's all right. She's busy right now. She has a little sick one today. Same with tomatoes. Yeah, now see, I can't eat raw tomatoes. That's one thing I definitely can't do for some reason. But when it comes to paste and all that, I'm good. Yeah, there's some things. That's like mushrooms. I still try to eat mushrooms. I love the smell of cooking mushrooms, but every time I eat them, I get sick. Every time. And it shouldn't, because mushrooms are probably one of the best things you can eat for you. Especially that's going around. Well, I think he was much better. But yeah, don't tell me it's going around. I know it's going around. It's put me in a hospital for 3 days. Actually, it did worse than that, but we'll talk about that another day. Oh man, tomatoes on bread. My dad used to eat green fried tomatoes and lettuce or tomatoes on bread all the time. See, I love the smell of mushrooms. I really do. And because I used to cook them at Bonanza all the time. Every restaurant had mushrooms. And I'd love sitting on, and I'd try to eat them and I'd get sick every time. And when I try to eat like the healthy mushrooms, like I tried lion's mane, I got sick. And that stuff's supposed to be like ultra good for you. So I got to find somebody says that maybe I should try, they have make powder and stuff, grind it into a powder maybe and eat it that way. Because I stand and sauteed mushrooms all day. And man, it always smells so good. I know they're fun to grow. Aren't they fairly easy to grow too? Because we used to see, my dad's from Chillicothe, and we used to go up in Mount Airy and Mount Logan, and they would hunt mushrooms. They would go mushroom hunting. I mean, these guys would come back with a bag full of mushrooms and make stew. And he would make a rabbit stew with it. And man, the smell of it cooking on the stove was always like made my stomach growl, but I couldn't eat it. Making me hungry. That's why I got my bugles. But I needed something salty. Bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes. Oh, there you go. I don't mind a BLT with turkey. That sounds actually pretty good. Yeah, rabbit stew. Actually, I had an uncle that raised rabbits. I didn't know. He had all these beautiful bunnies, and I'm like a kid. And one day we went in and we're sitting at the table, and I'm eating a drumstick. And it was going, "How's that drumstick?" And I said, "It's really good. Best chicken I've had. Kind of greasy, though." "That's a rabbit you're eating, Steve." I was like, "No, but it's good." I've had rabbit. Let's see, I've had squirrel. That was down at a friend's house. Actually, it wasn't bad. Yeah, fried rabbit. Yeah. That's what they were making. I've had squirrel. That was nothing. Pheasant's good. Fresh pheasant, if you shoot it and get it yourself, pheasant's really good. I like that a lot. A little greasy. I like duck, but Dad doesn't like duck. Duck is kind of greasy. Dad says ducks are the bird life of trash men, so he won't eat them. Shh, I'm hunting rabbits. Rabbits. One of my favorite cartoons. No, I liked rabbit. I didn't mind deer. I had buffalo. I love buffalo. Let's see what else. In Japan, I ate a lot of weird stuff. A lot of weird fish food. I had puffer. Didn't care much for octopus or squid. That's kind of required taste. I used to love sushi, but I got a hold of a bad batch of sushi once and haven't been able to eat it since. Yeah, it is real greasy. I make an orange duck. Me and ex used to make an orange duck, orange glazed duck for New Year's Day. And they always turned out so good. But yeah, they are a little on the greasy side. I've eaten everything in North Jersey. Muskrat was the only thing I could not eat. I probably wouldn't eat a muskrat either. I have a box of rat burgers in the refrigerator. If anybody's interested in White Castles. I have White Castles in the refrigerator. I've been nitpicking at. Yeah, they look kind of slimy. I can only imagine. Sounds like roadkill to me. Actually, I don't know if I should tell this story. I might tell it anyways. I had my friend, a friend of mine that I don't hang around with anymore. He's the one that had the werewolf photo. We used to go down to this place where we saw the werewolf. We would go down there a couple times a summer. It's like he had a prefab house sitting on a chunk of property, pretty nice. And there's a carryout. You got to drive a little ways, but there's a carryout pizza / because it's out in the middle of nowhere. So there was a carryout. There was a gas station, a carryout. It was the pizza. Well, they had great pizza. I mean, their pizza was awesome. And they would sell fried chicken and stuff. Well, we'd gone over there. I needed smokes at the time. And we were going to grab some more beer. I don't drink, so I was going to grab me some pop and pick up a pizza. And then head back over to the place. We're down there, and this guy walks in. He had 2 big bags in his hands, and they stunk. And the lady goes, "Jeremiah, get out of here." It sounded like something from a hillbilly movie. And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "Get that stinky stuff out of here." So he turns around and walks back out and throws it in the back of one of those 4-wheelers. And while he's out there messing, tying it down, she goes, "Yeah, he does it all the time." I go, "Man, that stuff's like, what did he have?" She goes, "Oh, he picks up roadkill and takes it back and stews it." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my gosh." He comes in here, we give him all the seasonings for it, and he takes it home and stews it, and sterilizes it and stews it and eats it. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." But it stunk. Essex County. I was there with Gemma for a book signing, Cliff, in a bar there. Her sister worked at. Loved White Castles. Gut grenades. We called them rat burgers or sliders up here. I don't know what Chris calls them. I'm sure he calls them pretty much the same. But yeah, I bought a pack of 20, a 20 box the other Friday. They sounded good, so I grabbed me some. I have to be in the mood for White Castle, so I buy a big box of them and just set them in the refrigerator and eat them. Yes, the olive. Yes, yes. That's it. That's the place. Yeah, she did a book signing for her first book. And she did a book signing there one Halloween, over Halloween. It was about 2 years ago. Yeah, we were there. We stayed in a hotel there. But yeah, nice area. I'd live out there. Nice little place out in the middle of nowhere. That's in a little town. I go there all the time. I worked there 7 years ago. Really? Then did you know her sister? Well, has it been 3 years already? Yes, it has. That has been 3 years. Yeah, it's flying, Edna, isn't it, though? 5-minute walk. Oh, wow. Very well. Yeah. I was there with her for a book signing. I was a little plumpier then. I am losing. I hate video because it makes me look big, but I have lost quite a bit of weight, and I lost even more. I was in the hospital. Doesn't look like it, but I have. What upset me is here's this guy. I get up every morning before everybody else wakes up and do my Tai Chi, so I haven't done. I can do it in peace and quiet, and then before I go to bed, I do it, and I do a little bit of a workout, a little bit of shadow boxing and stuff. And then this flu, and when I used to get sick, it'd be like I get sick, a couple days later, I'm done, over with. I was at her Halloween party with Mom. Oh, okay. Were you there at the one the week of the book signing? That's the first time I got to meet everybody. Well, I met Mom before that because I was staying with Mom. Bless her, I love Mom. She's such a sweetie. Probably not. Okay. But all right, Carol's Halloween party. That was kind of fun. I was the odd man out because I really didn't know anybody. But everybody was super nice. Everybody was sweet to me. 3 months ago. Oh, it was 3 months ago. Yep. Okay. I couldn't wait to get out of the hospital. The pain and the suffering was suffocating me while I was there. Yeah, it sucked. And I checked myself. I think they knew if they weren't going to let me go, I was going to still check myself out. I probably should have stayed a couple of extra days, but I was ready to come home. I couldn't stay there anymore. It had gotten up underneath my gut a little too much. I was ready to leave. I had seen enough. I think the doctors knew it too. And I was healing pretty good. That's why me and Mom laughed when Jim realized who I was. Oh, okay. I checked myself out a couple times. Goes, yeah. I don't like doing that because I have good doctors. I really do. And they were good to me that time too, considering what happened the night I was there in the emergency room. But when I had that nurse pretty much confirm everything, because I was on a weird floor that time. Excuse me. And when that nurse said what she said that Thursday morning, it was by noon, I was ready to go because it just wouldn't stop. And then the nurse that helped me leave, because they wouldn't let me walk out, which was fine. I don't mind getting rolled out. It's kind of nice. Get babied. She comes into my room, she looks at me and she goes, "You Mr. Davis?" And I said, "Yes." So I'm the only one in the room. She laughs and she looks at me. "You got something to tell me?" I said, "No, why?" She said, "You sure?" I said, "No." She said, "I'm ready to go home." She said, "No, that's not what you're supposed to tell me." And I looked at her really good and I said, "Be aware." That's all I said to her. That's what came out of my head. And she goes, "Be aware of what?" I said, "Something at home." And she goes, "Okay." And she leaves, she comes back, and she goes, my son locked himself out of the house. And I laughed. She laughed, called, check on people at home, and got her son. He had locked himself out of the house. It's a coincidence, I guess. But anyways, because I'm here to protect you. I said, what? And she goes, I'm here to take you down. I'm going to protect you. You need protecting. And I just, okay. She was a sweet lady. I think hospitals are more haunted. I think hospitals are more haunted than cemeteries. Oh, I'll agree with that. I'll tell you the most haunted places that I believe are the most haunted places. Hospitals, nursing homes, doctors' offices, and fire stations. Worthington Fire Station, it's a brand new building. It's not like brand new, but it's a new building where what they used to be in. And I went take one of the kids there once, and I kept seeing a fireman standing in the corner. And when the guy goes, what are you watching the corner for? And I go, there's a guy standing over there. And he goes, no, there's not. There's a guy standing over there. I'm pretty sure it's a fireman because he's wearing a uniform. And the guy goes, oh, he followed us over from the old building. He's one of the, we believe he's one of the first firefighters here in Worthington. He seems to hang out. He turns stuff off when we leave stuff on. He'll put boots out for us. He said there was one really bad fire, and when they come down, when the alarms went off, he had all their boots and stuff. All their boots somehow magically just appeared in order, waiting for them and everything. They don't know how it happened, and they think it was this guy. So now I say fire stations too, and police stations. Churches, if you find a haunted church, something is not right there. Do you understand what I'm saying? The church should never be haunted. It should be blessed. If there's hauntings going on in a church, then something was bad there. Something happened there that shouldn't have happened. Even if a spirit comes back to pay homage to that church, they don't stay. They do their thing and they move on. So that's why I don't say churches. If you're seeing haunted churches, there's something not right with that church. I hate to say that. And I've seen videos where I've seen a minister fighting with a pulpit. Yep, he was doing, his internet readings for the upcoming services for Sunday. And the pulpit and the flag behind him kept moving. He was freaking out. And it's like, dude, you better have somebody come in and bless your church, or you better bless your church. Something's not right. Something's not good. And that's how I feel about hauntings in churches. If your church is haunted, you better want to do some scrubbing. The Washington National Cathedral, the minute I stepped inside it, some places are like that. And that church has a history. I know what you meant. And nobody clear. Mental ward, yeah. I would suggest, I would probably say, well, there's not too many mental hospitals anymore. A lot of that's done through the hospitals now, but yes. I would say mental hospitals that are run down or not opened anymore, no, those are very haunted. Those are not good places anyways. But yes, the mental wards in like prisons, not prisons, are going to be haunted. This is so much anxiety and pain and fear there. I mean, that's a demon's probably one of his favorite places to feed from and to act at. Yeah, bad energy. A lot of low vibrational stuff there. I had a friend used to call hospital transportation hubs. And that's why he said you see ghosts in hospitals, because it's a transportation hub. Thomas used to laugh at him all the time for it. That's interesting you call them that. Well, isn't that what they are? Transportation hubs? What time we got? 12 o'clock. Good way to put it. Yeah, I thought so too. It kind of makes me giggle, but that's what he called them. Transportation hubs. Which kind of makes sense. Yeah, it does. You got all kinds of things going on in hospitals. That's the thing about hospitals. There's a lot of energy in a hospital. And I don't think people realize how much energy is in a hospital. Much alone, you go in a nursing home, and even though you think all those old people and elderly who had bad ways and stuff, you sit in a... When I had to recover from one of my hip surgeries, they put me in it was kind of a rehab rest home. So a lot of people with me while I was staying there were mostly elderly. Man, I was sitting out in the garden, and they let me smoke out there. So I'd sit out in the garden and have a smoke. Man, and the garden was literally inside, like a little block that was open air inside, and then the building went around. And I would sit at a table right in the middle of that, and to feel the energy coming off that place, kind of penetrating. Some days it'd be really good and really, really strong and felt real good. And there'd be days it would be like, I can't stay here. I got to get up. The minute they told me my granny passed, the young man on the phone was telling his parents he just had a baby girl. One comes, one leaves. I totally believe that. I always said, for everyone who goes on, another one comes in. And that's good. I don't know about today. But it doesn't make you feel special to know that your granny moved on, and yet a precious little baby girl came in her place. And then you wonder where that little girl's at today. And hope she's well cared for and brought up in a good home. I worked at nursing home, first floor, old, second floor recovery, third floor was the squirrel's nest. The squirrel's nest. I like that squirrel's nest. Sorry, I'm getting a little hoarse. That was crazy. I'll tell you what. That's one thing I will say. When I was in my hip recovery in that place, I only saw one thing in that whole place that bothered me. Was I'd come out of doing my rehab, and they were taking me back to my room, and there was a little old lady on the bed, and right next to her was a little old man. And they go, yeah, they're married. They've been here for a while. They're both kind of in and out. And as we pass, I look at him, and she's holding his hand. And behind them was a cloaked figure, one of the gray ones, just standing there. But she was holding it. She had a hold of his hand tight. But they were looking at each other, but that thing stood right behind them. I think that was one of the first times I seen one of the cloaked figures. One of the cloaked gray figures. Spent the week at a VA hospital. My father-in-law was there, broke your heart. Oh, when I take Dad to his VA hospital for his doctor's appointments, I didn't go in with him at first. My brother Mike took him. And then I started taking him, and I wouldn't go in because I just knew if I went in there, it'd be a nightmare. Well, now it's at the point where I got to go in with him. And actually, It's not too bad once you get up on the upper floors and there's less people. It wasn't so bad for me. But when we were in the main area, the main lobbies, they have cafeterias and like a little restaurant, and all these old guys sit around and talk about days gone by. I started to just get a stop and get a sandwich while he did a few things. I couldn't sit there very long. I mean, all the things that were floating around in there, it was just in that area too. So when I walked out away from that area, I didn't feel, so it wasn't oppressing. It was just like I could see things I didn't want to see, but I was seeing things that weren't bad. I just didn't want to see because there was too many of them. And a lot of these guys had like their ex-wives, their past wives with them. Some of them had, I would say, probably kind of like angel figures. There was this one guy sitting there that he had all him. He was still wears his uniform. They say he wears it. That says he wears it every time he comes in here. He's got a bunch of medals all over him, all over his jacket. And there is something that stands behind him. I wouldn't say it's like super bright, but it's bright. And I'm pretty sure that man's being protected for some reason. And he looks like he's about my dad's age, about 91, 92 years old. I did security back in 2000. They did close when they closed parts of the Greystone and were shipping people from New York. Ah, man. I can't stop thinking about the tall grave ghost. I have to know what it is and wonder if I'll ever see it again. You may never see it again, Edna. You may never see it again. I see him all the time. I seen him when I was in the hospital. And the black one that showed up me when I went in for the throat. Now that one bothered me. Didn't scare me, but it bothered me because I realized after I saw him, it was only not even a month later, I got sick. I got sick. I'm sick like I'd never been sick. That worried me. And then to see what I saw in that hospital the whole time I was there, and right before stuff went down in that emergency room, it'll be a while before if they have to take me to a hospital, I don't want to be awake when they take me through the doors. I better be out cold. Because I saw too much that time. Way too much. And it affected me. It affected me a lot. And I'm trying to get my feet back and get my grip back. And it's been hard. Because I didn't like what I was seeing. And it made me nervous. And I don't like that. I'm not a fearful man. I know when to be afraid because it's important to have fear. But that bothered me. The friends worked at NIH, Children's Cancer Ward. She came home crying, God, so bad. So she quit. Oh, yeah. She can't help it. You get attached to these people. And that's those people moved out. Like, what? Oh, they did move out, Edna? Oh, that's right. You did tell me they moved out. Yeah, you need to find out why they moved out. 8 years ago, I had a really bad accident and was in a trauma unit for weeks, out cold for 6 days. My brother came to see me and said I was talking to my grandfather and my dad, which would not surprise me, Cliff. It's not uncommon. Don't scare me. Didn't scare me, but I got no vibe from it. That worries me. Nah, don't worry. Don't let it worry you. That shouldn't worry you. It's when you get the vibes is when you start worrying. Good or bad, because my guess is you shocked it more than it shocked you. Because the thing with these gray ones is they are not meant to be seen. And I know us two are not the only ones that have seen them. There's other people that I can guarantee you out there that have seen them too. And I think it freaks them out. What they are and what they do, I have no idea. Maybe they are observers. Maybe they're some form of watchers. Maybe they're messengers. I don't know. I'm not going to try. And we may never know. Oh, my son must be home. Problem is, Grandpa passed in 81. Hey, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I figured that you were talking to people that had done moved on, they had both passed. Yeah, because a lot of times people who are in comas or out cold will mumble or things and stuff like that. It doesn't happen. It happens a lot more than you think. And they're usually talking to people who are past, helping them carry through. 1 second. Let me turn this off. Yeah, he was at a birthday party. He usually let me know he was home. Sorry about that. You don't remember anything? You probably don't. But they were probably there guiding you, keeping you safe. They did seem surprised at some. I saw it. Yeah, the way it tilts its head. That's like the black one in the thing. I get it when the gray ones do it because they do it. You can feel it's like, huh? What? You see me? Why are you seeing me? The black one, when it did it, was like, you're not supposed to see me. That's the vibe I got. It was like with the white-eyed kid. That white-eyed girl, she made it known that I was not supposed to see her. And with this black cloaked, the solid black cloaked figure, he made it obvious that I was not supposed to see him. My guess is they were telling you to hang on. Yeah, see, that's what I would think. In most cases, that's usually the case, is they're being comforted. I've heard coma stories where family would say that they'd watched their, patient, their family member who was in a coma for hours talk to somebody or be mumbling and say names. They would make out bits and pieces, and it would come to realize that they'd come out of the coma. And sometimes you remember stuff as you come out, but as you become more aware, that goes away. And they would say, I was talking to John, and that's what they do. They comfort you. They could have been angels in disguise, or it could have really been them comforting you, trying to keep you calm, trying to make you know that you're going to be okay. So why do we see these things? Are we all crazy? No. It's like it's like Ashley, my daughter. And I know Sammy sees stuff too, but she will never talk about it. Ashley will talk about it. She's my gabber. He'll never tell you. He doesn't believe in anything. He thinks I'm a joke. My son, he doesn't believe in this stuff. Well, he did. I think he did it one night when he come down and goes, Dad, something just grabbed me by the arm. It was cold. And it literally felt like somebody grabbed me by the arm. And he woke me up in the middle of the night just to come down and tell me that. I said, dude, this was even before my little brother had passed. I said, that dude left such a residue up there. It would not surprise me, man. Her grandma checking on him. I explained a part of my surgery. You should have seen the doctor's face. I've done that. But when I woke up and they were doing my neck, I woke up in the middle of surgery. Dude, that hurt. And I go, it goes, well, I should have known you were waking up when you started rocking. I go, duh. And next thing I was out again. My youngest didn't believe it either till he's calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning. He saw a dark figure. He believes now. Now you got to make sure you tell him that not all dark figures are bad. He's got to learn to, your family's pretty bright, Edna. And I just saw the one picture. I can imagine what the rest of the family's like. So, that's where you come in, hon. You're kind of like the overseer of these bunch. You need to make them comfortable in the things they see and the feelings they get. I think that's kind of your place right now, Edna. You're the kind of instructor for your family. Turns out the hotel he was in is known to be haunted. Oh, fun. But I know nothing, Ghost. So you know a lot more than you know. You know a lot more than you realize. Let's put it that way. The words will come for you at the right time. That's what I was always told. Because even now, I miss Thomas, and he gone now. I mean, not only did he move, he passed on. So I don't have Thomas anymore. But Patricia, I still talk to. She's here. And Patricia always says, Stephen, with you, even with she's seen me where I was very able to hold an intellectual conversation with large words and be like Gemma and you folks, where I can hold a conversation without babbling. Or she's seen the progression of this threats on me and what it's done to my ability to talk, and because of the tics and everything. And she goes, Stephen, I've noticed though, when you need to say something specific, it comes out perfect. When there's somebody you're helping, your words are just what needs to be said. So she goes, don't ever worry about trying to get the words out or knowing what you need to say, because that will come naturally for you. That will come when it's needed. So just feel that way, Edna. When that time comes, you'll know what to do. I can't explain these things to myself. How can I help others? Well, it's not really explaining it. It's helping to understand why. Why. You may not know why. We may all not know why we see what we see. But your words will comfort them enough to make them understand that there's a reason. What the reason is, I don't know. Some of us just get lucky, I guess. But there's a lot more out there of us than you think, Edna. A lot more. We're not the only two. There's quite a couple people in this chat and watching this chat. The prophetic dreams are one thing. This stuff is something else. Now, the dreams for me have gotten crazy. Now, seeing and dreaming are two very different things. I've just accepted along. See, I guess the difference between me and you, Edna, is I've dealt with it for so long that I just learned that I can't, and that you are a person that you should be able to protect yourself and be protected. But I'm noticing now with the issues you've had, you're kind of like me. No matter how much you protect yourself or try to cut yourself off from it, it just gets stronger. So that's why I go with it. And that's what I learned a long time ago. That I stopped fighting it. And I did that in my teens. And it was hard. And there's still days. It's crazy. What did Cliff say here? That's why I watch Friday nights and tune in tonight. I'm trying to learn more about myself and have been a better understanding. Well, Gemma's good at that stuff. Pixie's good at that stuff. And Gemma's good at that stuff. Just give her time. She's going through a lot. She's got a lot going on. But, yeah. And you're getting there. I mean, it will come at its right pace, Cliff. To learn about yourself and understand things about yourself. It comes naturally. Sometimes it will come fast. Sometimes it will come slow. It will come at the pace you need it for that moment in time. And the answers do come. I don't think a lot of people realize that the answers they seek are sometimes right in front of them. But they get so caught up in everything else, they don't stop to slow down and look in front of them, pace themselves, look at the details, look at the things that are going on around them, slowly, surely. A lot of times your own answers, the answers you seek, always been there. Yeah, and I am too. I'm always in the search for truth. But what is truth, Edna? I mean, we'd be looking for truth for everywhere. But it doesn't hurt to look for the answer of truth. I guess the answer that I always didn't look, I never searched for truth. I just always looked. I always researched and searched for, I don't know how to put this. Not the meaning of life, but why am I who I am? Why, especially when it comes to the paranormal world. Why do I see what I see? Why do I have knowledge in my head that I don't know where it comes from? You know, I've read books. I read books all the time. You know, I've been reading ever since I was young. And I've read everything, you know. But yeah, I couldn't tell you, I can read a book, tell you about the book. And I can read a book. I read War and Peace in a day. Some of the thickest books I've read in a day. I mean, I'm one of those readers. I plow through a book. Once I start, I can't stop. Problem is, I can tell you what's in the book, what's going on in the book, but I couldn't tell you lines from that book. It's like I remember songs. I can remember certain lyrics, but I couldn't sing the whole song. Oh, I love to read. But I always, I don't think I look for that. I'm not looking for truth. I guess I'm always looking for a better answer. Is there something else that grows? I mean, am I missing something? I guess instead of research, I always research and re-research because I always feel like I'm missing something. In actuality, I'm just realizing I'm trying to look at everything from all angles. All right, Justin. Yes, the nights are going good here. We're just gabbing. I'm getting ready to actually call it here pretty soon. I'm starting to get horsey. I'm starting to lose the voice here. I denied it, Ghost. And you're right. I've stopped fighting it now. And it's good to stop fighting it. I've always had a strong faith in a higher power. I have very strong faith in a lot of things. I'm very true. I could be a better Christian, let's put it this way. But I have good Christian values. Sometimes I think when it said we had a better path, I have a different path for you. I kind of still wish that maybe I'd become a minister. I think I'd have been a good minister. Not that it's not too late, because I could still be a minister. If it's real, I want an explanation. Yes. Now that sounds like something to me. If this exists, I want to know why it exists and what makes it tick. Why is it here? That's the kind of stuff that I look and do research about. Why did it happen? Why is it here? Why is it doing? Why is only certain people seeing it? I felt that. If I'm crazy, I'll accept that. Hold on, folks. Sorry about that. I am getting hoarse. And Justin, thank you for popping in it. I hope you're having a good weekend. We're babbling. I'm babbling. I don't talk like I used to, so I babble now. What's that? You look good, Ghost. You well on the med, and that makes me very happy. I feel good. I mean, I'm still congested. Still got some stuff coming up. Nicotine habit's been hard. I'm not gonna lie, but that had to go. But like I said, Edna, I've been sick in my life, and I've been sick. But usually I fight it, and I'm good. Whatever happened this time with me, again, just like the the NED, the near-death experiences I've had in the past, and I've had a few of them. This time, it was different, very different, and I feel very different when I came out of the hospital. I don't know if it was because of all the stuff I was seeing before, because I was seeing stuff for a lot of stuff right before I went in. When I was sick, I was seeing stuff. Ever since they went in and took that cyst out of my throat, ever since that black shadow, it got crazy. But this has been nuts, and I'm good. I feel good. I'm positive. I'm seeing things, even though I need new glasses. I am seeing things a little more with clarity. The only sucks again is vocabulation. I'm having a hard time expressing with my vocabulary things, and I wish I could. I mean, this Tourette's and what it's done to me over the years kind of screwed me, because it's like I have all this stuff up here and I want to spill it out, and I may just have to start writing it down. Yeah, it is. But you know what? And I'd quit before cold turkey. Just stop. My mistake was I got divorced and got drunk one night and picked them back up, and I never stopped. Ugh. But see, and that's the thing. It's frustrating, yes. But I know that I'm not the only one that goes through this. I know you go through it in some way or form. I know there's other people in our chats that go through things like I go through. And everybody's path is very different. Just remember, folks, don't always choose the wide path. Sometimes that narrow path where you have to squeeze and glide your way through the passageway is sometimes the best path, is the best path, is the best path to take. Because that's where you learn. That's where you grow. That's where your strength comes from. That's where your faith comes from. Where your hopes and dreams come from. Getting through those is a lot easier than taking a nice wide path and going la 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 la. That's not fun. That's boring. Oh yeah, I think the majority of the people in this chat has been through something in her chats, and even before that, even in Steve's chats and some of the other chats that we've seen each other in, and you could tell. And we're not alone. We're not alone. By any means, we're not alone. That's one thing I will say. Was it that Tuesday? That Wednesday, I was in the hospital. I was talking to her nurse. It's funny because she goes, "You look kind of worried. You'll be okay, Mr. Davis." And I said, "Oh, I know I'm going to be okay. I don't worry about that. So I'm a little worried about my dad at home by himself, and my son's got to work." And she goes, "How old is your dad?" "He's 91. She goes, "Oh, that's awesome." And she looks at me and goes, "But you still look worried." I said, "Hon, do you see things?" And she goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Do you see things? Do you ever so often see something out of the corner of your eye and you can't make it?" She goes, "All the time in this hospital. You do that in hospitals. It's crazy in hospitals." She goes, "You ask anybody in this hospital and they'll tell you that they've seen something that's shooken them up or freaked them out." And she goes, that's not news." And I go, "Well, imagine that times 10. And she goes, "Oh." And I just left it at that. Because that stay was, from the time I hit that emergency room and realized I was a lot worse than I thought I was, because I was playing it off. And they started strapping stuff on me. It got nuts. It's not what we go through. It's how you react. Exactly. Because everybody reacts differently. It's like I talk about pain. Way I feel pain and deal with pain. That's why I don't like people comparing their pain with other people's pain. Because the way I feel pain and deal with pain is a lot different than the way you feel pain and deal with it. But that goes with everything else in life. The way I may deal with something may be totally different from the way you deal with it. I'd love to hear the whole story. Well, I don't know if I'll tell the whole story about what happened the other week with me being sick. Some of it's personal, and I try to be careful what I say here online. Believe it or not, you guys don't know everything. You don't know everything. Certain people think they do, but they don't know everything about me. I've seen things, I'm not even a soldier. God knows I tried to be a soldier. They wouldn't take me because they didn't understand why I shook and rocked the bed, and then found out I had other issues. But yeah, we can empathize. I know, but there's a lot people don't know, and it's like there's a lot of things I don't know about you folks, but I don't want to know. That's your business. That's your private life. I don't need to know all that stuff. But yeah, there are some things that I will definitely talk about Wednesday, because this was something I was going to talk about Wednesday. I was going to talk about it last Wednesday, but I just couldn't do it. I just needed a break. And then when I started to think about doing it, it was like, no, save it. You're not ready yet. So yeah, I would write a book. No problem is I don't know if anybody would read it. It may not sell, but but yeah, you should write a book. There's quite a few people in this chat and other chats that probably should write books. I thought about it. I always said that Gemma would write it. Maybe she will one day. I can't sit and type. I'm too anxious. My body doesn't. I don't think people really understand the fact that I'm in constant motion, always in motion. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm in motion. I think you would have a great book full of short stories. Yeah, that probably would have been just things that have happened through my life, because there are a lot of things that happened in my life that I probably want to keep private, because I wasn't no angel. That's for sure. I had my moments. I've done my damage. So that's all I'm going to leave at that. There are a couple people out there that kind of fear me. So yeah. AI will do a lot over. I'm not letting AI touch my stuff. No, I don't think I'll do that, because have you read some of the stuff after AI does it? Now I notice they have AI write a story, and then they have to have somebody go through and give it a human touch. Now, the AI is quite not there yet, and I'm not a big fan of AI anyways. Man, if I can't believe what we have been chewing the fat this long. Oh yeah. We've been known to go. When I used to do these at midnight, me and Edna one night, it got off, and what was it? Almost 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm an angel sent from heaven. You are an angel, though, Edna. More than you may know. Every off uses AI. I know. I can't stand it. It's a good time here. I mean, yeah, we only got 6 people watching. I don't do a big draw, but a lot of times I can't believe the rewatch I get. Sometimes I do pretty good on a rewatch. Now Wednesday, I'm counting for a good rewatch, because I'm going to get into things Wednesday and talk about some things that went down. We were laughing our tails off that night. Yeah, we were too. And I mean, my face hurt. I think that night my face hurt from laughing so hard. We were having a good old time. And I think it was just me, you, and I think Sydney and Cindy kept popping in and out. But it was pretty much you and one other person just popping in and out, and we were just having a blast. So yeah, I'm looking at just so you know, my camera's right here. I keep looking at the screen. I don't know why I do it. A lot of very positive spiritual people in this group. Yes, there is. And there's a few we got to be wary of, but they're good people. They come in and they get their fill, and hopefully it fills their cup up enough that they can make it through the week. Well, thank you, Cliff. I appreciate you coming and hanging with us. Now, I will be here Wednesday night for spooky time at 9 o'clock. And then I will be back here next Saturday at 10 o'clock for Gemma's replay. I'm trying to figure if Gemma's going to come back for Tuesday talks. Right now, things have been a little crazy for her, but I haven't been pushing it. So remember, I am getting ready to sign off. I'm getting kind of in and out of some voice. Monday, her premiere. Time Travelers. Be a good one. 11 a.m. Be there. Premiere. I hopefully will be in chat this time. I better be in chat this time or I'm going to get yelled at. Wednesday, I'll be here at 9 for spooky time. Then Friday night, me and Gemma for her oracles, because she's the show, which is awesome. Come see Gemma. Get a card. Yeah, she's charging $2 now. But she's got to get paid. I mean, she's done it for free for years. Hopefully she get back on her feet, because the writing thing is AI screwed everybody over on that. Writers, a lot of writers lost their jobs because of AI. So, anyways. So yeah, it's only fair that she charges at least $2. I mean, some of these people charge $5, $10 for just a tarot reading, $20 in live chat. So, $2 is fair, and on PayPal, Cash App, and $4 for super chats because YouTube takes half, so she's still going to only get $2. I think that's perfectly fair. And every so often, people come in and donate a little extra, and that helps some people who can't afford it. Gemma, she's fair anyway. She tries not to bum out too many people. She tries to help out as much as she can. Just right now, it's just got to be. And she knows it's tight for everybody. She understands that. So she doesn't like doing it either. And I don't, nobody likes to half-ass. But you're on YouTube to make an income. And sometimes this is the only income some people have because they can't, go get a job and stuff. So, but anyways, enough of that BS. So hope to see you Monday. Everybody have a wonderful Sunday. Hey, all right. Please have a wonderful night. I missed a lot, didn't I? I'm seeing this and loving the vibes. But I guess that's just, they just don't know. We know. That's true, Edna. They don't know that we know. Yes, don't push it, Jess. I won't. She's freaky good. Yes, she is. And she scares me sometimes. You notice I don't get readings anymore. She doesn't even give me my monthly. I don't even bug her about it. Sometimes she freaks me out. Yeah, you're getting a little too personal there, woman. But she does do great. I've seen up to 60 of her readings. Up to 60 for her reading is crazy. Actually, 60 is really cheap compared to a lot of other people. Yeah, 125. I've seen tarot card readings go for like $200. It's insane what these people ask. So $60 is cheap. And she's very personal about it, even if it is just her sending you a video of the reading. Now, she charges more for like face-to-face and stuff, which I think is fair too, because she doesn't like going outside. As much as she loves doing live streams and stuff, You know, she's very uncomfortable because she picks up so much that sometimes it bugs her. You know, but I can't say for sure because I'm not Gemma. Anyways, yeah, but she does. She's totally worth the 60. Have a great night. Yes, everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you for hanging out with me. All 5 of you people that stuck it through. We were kind of rambling tonight. It's because I've been gone for a while too. I missed you guys. I really did. Folks that come in and watch the replay, I hope you watch this long. I really appreciate you watching the replays. And the people that come and go out of chat. I know a lot of you do it because you think Gemma's with me. Hey, next time hang out. You might have a good time. Yeah, I get the babbling, but my babbling is because of me trying to say something and it's just not coming out. But everybody have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful Sunday. I will see you on the flip side of Monday at 11. Be good. Be kind to each other, as Gemma would say. Much love to you all. Oh, that's great, Cliff. And good night, folks. And thank you all for hanging with me. See you soon and see you on the flip side. Peace out, folks. Much love. And be